Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavengavengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, employers under spotlight for failing to pay minimum wage rate. Flood warning in force for low-lying areas. And Prime Minister outlines COP23 visions.
From the studios of FBC Suba, Amrita Sagar.
The Employment Ministry has received 170 complaints against employers who have failed to pay their workers the new national minimum wage rate and have not complied with the wage regulation order. The new rate came into effect in September. Pranita Prakash reports.
Employment Minister Chono Samate says the 170 complaints include issues of pay rate, holiday pays and sick leaves.
The national minimum wage that we have, we've already received about 18 cases, we've been 18 reports, and there have also been 152 cases for the wage regulation orders. These are the minimum wages in the different sectors. So there's about 170 cases altogether.
Usumate says the companies involved are being dealt with.
If they come back in 30 days' time and it's still not been done, then a fine can be put in place, and if they still do not do what they need to do, they can go up to the Employment Relations Tribunal. We can have a spot fine of $500, or if it goes up to the Employment Relations Tribunal, they can impose sentences. They can also impose fines of up to not exceeding $20,000.
The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation is also calling on employers to adhere to the law.
The new minimum wage of $2.68 is now law, and we'd like to urge all our members who are out there employing people to abide by these regulations. And this includes those who hire home help, who hire people to look after your gardens, those in the informal sector. I think it cuts across all sort of aspects of employment.
The ministry is warning employers to self-regulate and comply with the new national minimum wage rate and the wage regulation orders. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
A flood warning is now in force for the low-lying areas and small streams adjacent to Waimanu Station and downstream of Waimanu River and adjacent to Nangali Bridge and downstream of Waindina River. Water level at Waimanu Station was 6.36 meters at 4:15 p.m., which is 1.36 meters above warning level. At Nangali Station, the water level was 5.46 meters at 4 p.m., which is 1.96 meters above warning level and increasing. People living in low-lying areas are advised to move to higher ground as high tide is at 7:58 p.m. tonight. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over the southern part of Fiji and the associated cloud and rain is currently affecting the country. Prime Minister and incoming COP23 President Voreqe Bainimarama says Fiji will work closely with the G77 and China to advance its work on climate change support and efforts. Addressing the largest bloc at the United Nations, Bainimarama outlined the key priority areas and the COP23 vision. Ritika Pratap reports.
The Prime Minister says Fiji's vision is for a presidency that is transparent and inclusive of all, advances the Paris Agreement and accelerates climate action for all vulnerable societies.
Global climate action, we need a grand coalition of all actors, parties and non-state partners. We need to go further, we need to go faster together.
Bainimarama says significant progress has been made on most of the individual components of the Paris Agreement.
The pre-COP showed a strong appetite for having country-owned tax, headings or elements of tax, by the end of COP23 in order to start working on draft decisions in 2018.
Meanwhile, Bainimarama also delivered his closing remarks at the 13th Conference of Youth at the Integrated Comprehensive School in Bonn, Germany. He urged the youths to come together and tackle the crisis faced by vulnerable nations.
I want to tap your passion and drive to make the changes we need to make the world a better, cleaner and safer place. Because believe me, life will get better if we have the courage to solve this problem.
The Prime Minister will officially assume the presidency of COP23 tomorrow. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Development Bank is the first development bank in the region to be accredited for direct access to the Green Climate Fund at a national level. The announcement was made at the 18th meeting of the GCF board in Cairo, Egypt. The accreditation strengthens Fiji's capacity in taking ownership of its climate financial needs to assist in addressing and respond to the impacts of climate change. FDB's key liaison personnel with GCF Secretariat, Nafitale Dhaka says this journey began 2 years ago when the government nominated FDB to become a national accredited entity. With direct access, FDB will be able to blend green climate funds up to $20 million per project with other financing instruments to provide the best affordable financing package. The Fiji Police Force is looking at smarter ways to fight crime. Commissioner Brigadier General Sitiveni Gilaho says the force is working on using different technologies in the future that will assist them in their investigations. Ritika Pratap reports.
The Police Commissioner says they're looking at different ways to manage the criminal landscape.
Utilization of drones. We're working hard on utilization of cameras. We're looking at opportunity of working with institutions and companies that already have cameras in place. We are exploring all that.
Brigadier General Giliho says he is in talks with an overseas country which is willing to donate drones that will assist the force. He says the force will also buy some of its own drones.
When that comes into action, that's something we keep close to our chest. They know if we have the capability to monitor phones, they will switch off their phones. So that GPS systems are not tracked and things like that. They know we're flying drones, they will find another way to operate.
Giliho says the criminals continue to change their modus operandi and gather information on police activities. He says in some cases they have infiltrated the police network and influenced officers who have colluded with them.
Like I said, we have very intelligent criminals who use the internet to find out ways to break into the latest vehicles that are out on the market. And we have to be smarter than them. We have to be 100 steps ahead of them.
The force has also appointed a director community policing that will help them work with the public to fight crime. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Still to come, public raises concerns at bus fare review consultation. And 24 organizations recognized for business excellence. Stay with us for more.
O tikongon na tao ni Singapore ando talita kana bakarong ng Bula FM number 2 na serre.
Ya dora subuni kurang bili. Borani bat sekarang hambara binaranga. Do talita kinal na bakarong ng Bula FM number 2 na serre. Bula.
Bula FM number 2 na serre.
General concerns of bus fare pricing, conditions of buses and service delivery top discussions at the consultations held by the Independent Bus Fare Review Committee. Committee Chair Joel Abraham says all the issues raised by the public in the Western and Northern divisions will be considered when finalizing the review. Rachel Nart reports.
The Bus Fare Review Committee wrapped up its consultations in the Northern Division yesterday.
We managed to get a lot of good views. The market vendors that came through, there were people who were out marketing, they came and expressed their views. People talked about issues of being unable to top up their e-ticketing cards and how the fares were being deducted out of the e-ticketing card.
Chair Joel Abraham says the concerns brought forward during the face-to-face consultations are of substance.
We find that people are quite informed. They know what they are talking about. People are talking about fuel prices, cost of operations, then simply not just standing up and saying just reduce the fare.
FBC News took to the streets of Suva and the public also expressed their views with us.
The bus company, I think the bus routes need to be relooked into. Previously, 3 buses would service one route, but after the implementation of the e-ticketing system, only 1 bus serves that route.
Sometimes when we ride in the bus, when it's raining, we get wet inside the bus. And the bus sometimes very dirty too. Bus fare to be down because a lot of the the ladies like us, we know we got no husbands.
People in Suva can give their submissions at the Sakuna Park tomorrow, after which the committee moves to Nasinu on Tuesday. The final consultation will be held at Nasori's Syria Park on Wednesday. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Chicken shortage during the festive season will no longer be an issue for consumers as Quest Chicken is beefing up its supply. In an interview with FBC News, Goodman Fielder General Manager Chris Zaham said Quest Chicken is ready to meet the demands as preparations commence soon after Easter. Rachel Nath with the story.
The longest-serving chicken supplier, Crest Chicken, is anticipating the demand for Christmas and New Year's will be higher compared to last year.
We've seen a shortage in the market. I think those days are gone. This festive season should not be one of those. But yes, I think everyone can recall the days where you couldn't buy chicken or you couldn't get anything bigger than a size 13. Those days are well gone.
Many new players have entered the market, but this has not hindered their sales.
We're now busy with the final Christmas execution plans. We're working with our retail partners. We've got several more trucks on the road this year. So Christmas is going to be a big season for us.
Fijians also feel the shortage of chicken during festive season is no longer an issue.
Festive season when we would go out to shop for chicken and then there would be no stock, and I know that some families would go without chicken simply because there was no stock, but we have not experienced that for this now.
Think there will be any shortage of chicken during this festive season?
I think there's more than enough chicken in the supermarkets to cater for us in the upcoming season.
Meanwhile, yesterday 5 lucky people drove away with an Isuzu D-Max each. They had taken part in the Crest Chicken 5x5 promotion. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
The growth of a particular business depends on the capability of the individuals in the workforce. Speaking at the 19th Fiji Excellence in Business Awards in Nandi last night, President Major General retired Churchi Conrote said, by working together, individuals can help raise performance and productivity of a business to greater heights. Seniani Boiler reports.
While awarding the 24 businesses, the President said it is a platform to recognize organizations that distinguished themselves and worked hard to attain world-class status.
Our people are our most important resource, as you know. And so, as our business grows, we also have to develop and harness our workforce capabilities and capacity along with it.
Fiji National University Vice-Chancellor Professor Nigel Healy says in the last 18 years, over 200 awards have been presented.
This growing interest in the Fiji Business Excellence Awards has in turn resulted in a record number of 140 evaluators being trained this year.
The main award, the Fiji Business Excellence Prize, went to 8 businesses, including FEA, Jack's Retail, Ramsamy & Sons and LICI, to name a few.
This is a very proud moment for all of us as we have gathered to celebrate one more success of LICI.
Our organization has worked hard, which has enabled us to win this prestigious award.
I'm extremely privileged to receive this prestigious award on behalf of Jack's team.
The theme for this year's Excellence Award was Raising Productivity for Sustainability. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
Leaving behind everything you're familiar with and moving to a new country for a new start is not always easy. In our successful Fijian segment tonight, we bring you the story of Inamul Hug, who left India 16 years ago in the hopes of starting a business in Fiji. Rachel Nath with his success story.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Commonly known as Bobby to those who are his customers, the 39-year-old entrepreneur is operating a restaurant and a side canteen business in Suva.
Originally from India, Bombay. I'm long-time business in Linking Road, Bollywood city. I that time do lot of business. I got clothing, imitation, leather goods, export, import. So unfortunately, Fiji one party come my shop They buy a lot of things, they meet with me, they're really excited. You are a very good person. We deal with you.
Bobby sold his business in India and moved to Fiji. However, the startup wasn't what he expected.
I stay with those people. I look after those people's business. Work at home to bulk and all everything. So what is the promise? I see they not work with them. After that I talk with those people, they created trouble. So that time my mind, I think I go back.
The entrepreneur left his Fijian business partner and set out on his quest to open a canteen.
Time I really struggled because I am from very highly educated family, but I am not highly educated. So I can't find any job because my line is business. So only my opportunity I can do the business. So I going city council, lot of trouble. They try to take one small license like a hawker's license. I take hawker's license and I look the place in Southern Kuru's Gordon Street. The canteen there, that one, I start up of Fiji, that business.
By running a bean cart, Bobby managed to collect enough money to start up his restaurant.
Startup of my life in Fiji, I really very emotional because that part I really emotional because how I survive in honest way is really very tough. I going that part I really, so that time I night 11, 12 o'clock I walk, 3 o'clock wake up. My belief, I don't do anybody ask $10 give me. I really struggle.
Inamul Haq says the journey, while may have been difficult, it was always about hard work and determination.
I never gave up on life but instead kept facing and fighting it. It was with a lot of hard work and perseverance that I stood on my own.
Bobby today successfully operates both his outlets, from cooking to serving customers and managing the store. He says one must never give up hope and always strive for bigger and better things. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Ahead in sports, Fiji Mbati ready for Wales. And reasonable turnout at Suva Challenge. This and more coming up.
I'm another sort of of whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Kano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the...
Fiji Airways drew a team's dream run in its maiden National Rugby Championship season has come to an end. The Senirusi Siruvakula coach side lost 57-21 to Queensland Country in the second semi-final this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Canberra Vikings are into their second NRC final after a superb performance saw them beat Perth Spirit 40-35 in the first semi-final yesterday. The Vodafone Fiji Mbati could secure a spot in the quarter-final of the Rugby League World Cup with a win against Wales today. Fiji go into the match as hot favourites after the 58-12 drubbing of USA in its first match. Fijian coach Mike Potter says the side is aware of the threat.
I coached quite a few of the players in Super League, and Craig Kopchak is quite handy, and Phil Josephs is strong. Gary Kieran fullback and a couple of their halves, they're quite handy ball players. I'm a bit worried about their forwards more so than anything.
Meanwhile, Tonga defeated Samoa 32-18 in an entertaining encounter last night. The Australian rugby side has cruised to victory in Yokohama, beating Japan 63-30 in the first test on the Japanese soil. Fijians Tevita Kurundrani, Samu Kerevi and Henry Spate were in sensational form as all three got on the scoring sheet. World champions New Zealand rallied in the second half to beat an enterprising Barbarian side 31-22 at Twickenham. The All Blacks trailed 17-10 at halftime. The Oceania Sevens tournament has come a long way in the last 7 years and is expected to be bigger and better this year. A very prime example is New Zealand bringing the core of the team that will take part in the World Series from next month. This is sure to boost the tournament in terms of the competition level.
Perhaps, through their own development strategies, they would previously send a development team, if that. New Zealand really, of all the nations, have only attended the Oceania Rugby Sevens once or twice in previous occasions. So we're delighted they're on board this year again, and they've shown that commitment to our Oceania Sevens concept.
80 runners took part in the Suva Challenge, the first major build-up race for next year's Suva Marathon. Athletes braved the wet conditions this morning to test their times and have a fair idea of where they stand. Rohit Deo reports.
Today's race was a bit special for the athletes, as marathon record holder Binesh Prasad, now residing in USA, was present as chief guest.
It was good to see all the runners come out, brave the rain. It was raining really hard, and I was very surprised that with the time change, they lost 1 hour sleep, and still they came over, they braved this tremendous rain that was pouring all the time.
Prasad says a lot of work is needed if our athletes are to excel on the field.
The times that the kids are doing right now, the women in US would do it just as a hobby, So there's something that needs to be done for them to run faster, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that they have to progressively try and achieve.
The athletes took full advantage of Prasad's presence and made sure not to go away without some healthy advice.
It felt great. We get a chance to talk to him in terms of training and all this. Yeah, it's good to have him here.
Despite the low turnout, the organizers were pleased that they were able to complete the event in these heavy conditions. The next Suva Challenge will be held in April next year before the big one, the Suva Marathon in July. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The final field for this Tuesday's Melbourne Cup horse race has been released. Last year's winner, Al Mendine, is the hot favourite to win again. Other big names taking part include Bondi Beach, Who Shot the Barman, and Galante.
When you look at the Melbourne Cup field itself, there's a lot of horses which run and qualify to enter the Melbourne Cup. So I would say there's 24 horses and anybody can win the Melbourne Cup.
Rain and thunderstorms were experienced over most parts of the country today. Now, a trough of low pressure lies slow moving over Vanuatu and extends southeastwards over Fiji. Meanwhile, another trough affects Tuvalu. Looking at the west, cloudy and humid with heavy showers. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, cloudy and humid with showers as well. And up in the north, cloudy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms. The temperatures remain below 30 degrees. At sea, a strong wind warning remains in force for southern Lao waters, southern Koro Seas, Kandavu and the Vatuira passages. Easterly winds 15 to 20 knots and moderate to rough seas, moderate southeast swells. The next high tide is at 7:58 tonight with low tide at 2:01 a.m. Sunrise is at 6:25. The outlook for tomorrow, strong easterly winds with an average speed of up to 45 kilometers per hour, gusting to 65 kilometers per hour over the southern Lao and Lomaiviti group with rough to very rough seas. As for Tuesday, some showers over the eastern parts and the interior of the larger islands is expected. Afternoon or evening showers and isolated thunderstorms are expected as well. Recapping the main stories, employers under spotlight for failing to pay minimum wage rate. Flood warning in force for low-lying areas. And Prime Minister outlines COP23 visions. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. We move on to our poll question. This week, we're asking, do you think Fiji's role in COP23 is starting to benefit other small island states? You can visit our FBC website to answer. Do send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight. Until next time, good night.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची FM सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची FM is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची FM सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची FM is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से। मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची FM सुनते हैं। मिर्ची FM is hot. I love मिर्ची FM.
हमें स्पिन पता हुआ कि मिर्ची FM में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची FM, it's hot.